was fortunate to hear that song on 9 different occasions. Thank you very much. By the way, that's the song they play after you win the national championship. And the best way to watch that is from half court, looking up at the scoreboard. A couple things here, a couple house-cleaning items. First off, Father, I thought you were introducing another football team when you did the presenters. If there's anybody in the room that Bill McGregor did not introduce, would you stand up right now, please? All right, Music Man, me and you got off to a good start. I like the tunes. Next thing you got to do is make sure you use the same watch for my 5 minutes as you did for Bill McGregor's 5 minutes. Really? Father Damien, I have to talk a little bit about him because he was my typing teacher. That's something that is now extinct. Kids learn at 3 years old how to do the keyboard now. But he was my typing teacher. He married my wife to me. Pretty good, huh? Thought we had a little something going here. He baptized my 2 wonderful children. He's been a dear friend and most recently provided a tremendous amount of comfort to my family. I'll be forever grateful to you, Father Damien. Tom Ponton and the selection committee, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. Tom called me. Usually when he calls, it's to tell me the donation's not big enough or the check bounced. So I get this message early in the morning during the summer. I'm saying, what is this guy calling me for? So I call him back. It's important, Jeff, got to talk to you right now. I call him back. Hello, this is Tom Ponton, please leave a message. How important was it, Tom? He didn't answer the phone. So he calls me back and he says, Jeff, here's what's going on. I said, okay, great. Distinguished alumnus, Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. I goes through the whole speech and I said, Tom, do me a favor. Just go back to the beginning for one thing. Did you say distinguished alumnus or extinguished alumnus? I thought they had gone back and looked at the transcript. So I want to congratulate all the honorees here tonight. This is a special evening for all of us, everybody that has come up tonight to get these awards. Particularly want to recognize my classmate, Tim O'Brien, from the class of '77, and I also want to thank him for yielding his minutes to me. Dan McMahon, thank you so much for following up on the great job that Mr. Moylan did and carrying on the proud tradition of this school that we all cherish in so many ways. The Branch family, you know, I was talking to the Branch family. I feel like I grew up with them. Philip, A.B., Tommy had favor, A.B. You were right, Tommy had favor. Still has favor. He had a personality that lit up the room. I have to tell you one quick story about A.B. though, Adrian Branch. I'm a young basketball trainer for Lefty Drizel at Maryland. I'm about 24 years old, doing a job that people, usually 40 or something do. A.B.'s on the team, right? We go to NC State, we're going to play NC State, we play the game. Next morning, I get up, Coach Drizel's off recruiting, it's me and the 2 assistants and the team. We're loading the bus up at 7:30 a.m., boop, boop, counting heads, everybody's here. Who's not here? Manager says to me, Adrian. I said, Adrian is not here? Not here. So we go over, we bang on the door, boom, 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 boom. We have the guy who owns the hotel, is a dear friend of ours at Maryland, and he's calling the room 40 times. Boom, boom, boom. I can hear the phone ringing. Guys are beating on the door. So the 2 assistant coaches look at me and say, what are we going to do? And I said, well, we got to do something here. We got to make this flight. Coach isn't here. Somebody's got to call the ball. And the 2 of them said, well, we're getting a rental car. So they left. And so here I am, I'm ready to call the ball. All right, do we leave A.B. behind or do we not leave A.B. behind? So I get the manager of the hotel, as I said, who owns it. I said, hey, here's what you do. You take this airplane ticket and I don't care if you have to take the door off the hinges. We've already beat on it. We've called them. We put a stick of dynamite under it. I don't care what you have to do. You stay on this until somebody said unlock it. We tried it, but he had the thing locked from the inside. So sure enough, I got to call the ball on this decision. We leave A.B. in Raleigh, North Carolina to go back to College Park. So I find Coach on the phone. We're at the airport. on the other end, and I called Coach on the phone, and I said, "Hey, Coach Rizzo, I want to make sure you're okay with what I did." He said, "What's that?" I said, "I left AB at the hotel in North Carolina State." He said, "Yeah, I'm fine with everything you did as long as he shows up for the next game." Yeah, sometimes you were a scary movie. Just like that time right there when you hung me out, but that's okay. Let's get down to the serious stuff. I'm so very honored when, whatever the number is, 15 or 17 people, and I look at that list, and there's doctors, there's James Brown, the famous sportscaster, there's my other classmate, Mike Bray, one of the greatest coaches in college basketball, writers. You know, you go down that list, and it's just, I'm so honored to be here with you all tonight. And I want to tell you more than anything, I'm very humbled. I'm humbled because 42 years ago, I set foot on this campus as a freshman. And I've been pretty tied into the school since then, and I can tell you this right now, I know there's a lot of people as deserving and more deserving for me to be at this podium tonight. So I thank God for this opportunity. You know, today, like many people have said, you don't get here, you don't get anywhere in life without the people behind you. And I've been fortunate to have so many people that have impacted my life over the years. And tonight it's about the DeMatha people that impacted my life. It's from Coach Wooten, who I could go on and on about, Father Damien, Jack Bruin. I mean, I'm looking at this list of people, John Moylan, all the way to Luke Kredak, who was the custodian here. And if you were a basketball manager, he was a pretty important person to you because you needed to find him to help get things squared away. So I'm grateful to the whole DeMatha family. I'm particularly grateful to the DeMatha faculty and staff who made my time here so special for me and for my classmates. Frankly, the DeMatha teachers and the basketball program here are what moved me to be an educator in the higher education arena and to be an athletic administrator. When the call came from Tom, it gave me a little bit of time to reflect from then till now about what does DeMatha really mean, what are the experiences about, and so many people have said it in so many ways. For me, it's about faith. We learned so much about our faith here, and our faith in one another, and our faith in God, and I've always taken that with us everywhere we go. It's about the bond. It's about the bond of being a member of the DeMatha family. We had a Hall of Fame induction at our place at Hofstra University a week ago, and I was telling people, when you bring back a team, it's amazing. You saw all those guys, all 127 football players up here hugging each other. You know, was there a roster limit, Bill? Honest to God. But you know, I told somebody, I said, look at these guys. Some of them haven't been together in 30 years at our Hall of Fame dinner. And in 15 minutes, it was like they were in the dorm last night together. It's that bond and it's the friendship that comes from being teammates. But here it's one other thing. It's that bond and friendship and that faith and love for one another that comes from being one DeMatha, being the DeMatha family. And I'm eternally grateful for my opportunities here. I tell you this, each and every day in my professional life and in my personal life, and I think all leaders have to make a lot of decisions, and I'm no different. I make a lot of decisions. And how I conduct myself is often scrutinized by a lot of different people, like all leaders. Each and every day that I make decisions and I determine how I'm going to conduct myself, I draw back on what I learned at DeMatha. The values and the principles that this school stands for, and in particular, I look back on my experiences with Coach Wooten. You know, I came here from a public school. I didn't come from St. Mark's or St. Camillus or whatever. I came here, and frankly, I came here for 1 year. My mother worked at a public high school, and the plan was to come here for 1 year and then transfer to the high school. So I came here not knowing what DeMatha was about. I had no idea. I'd been here one night on open house, and that was it. But I tell you what, for me, it didn't take long for me to find out what DeMatha was about. One day after class in room 35, I asked to speak to my world history teacher, and I asked him a question. I said, how do I become a basketball manager? I need to dig in and be part of this family. I shared my very specific questions with Coach Wooten, about how to become a varsity basketball manager. And Coach Wooten told me very specifically how difficult that would be, but how I could accomplish my goal. And it started out with hard work and it ended with hard work. I can tell you this, I thoroughly enjoyed my 4 years working with the varsity basketball team here and working in Coach's office. That was the start of a journey that's been great ever since. Ever since, filled with wonderful people and wonderful opportunities. And I'm forever grateful. I want to dedicate these 2 awards, the Distinguished Alumnus Award and the Hall of Fame Award, to a special group and then to a special person. I share this recognition with all the past and present student managers that have supported all the coaches and student athletes here at DeMatha. And when I think about those men, I think about people like John Wilson, Joe Stepp, Chris Bates, Mike Gibbs, Colin Provost, my godson, Kenny Beaver, people like Jimmy, and people like Luke Farrell. All special people who have a place in this athletic program. The other one is a very special person, and I've mentioned him on a number of times. The greatest mentor in the world, the greatest basketball coach in the world, and by the way, the greatest coach in the world, because coaching is about inspiration and making people think they can do something that they don't believe themselves they can do. Great mentor. Think about this one night. When I worked in Chicago, Coach Wooten came to Chicago for a meeting, and he called me and he invited me to dinner with him and John Wooden. Are you kidding me? I was 22, 23 years old working for the Chicago White Sox, and I'm having dinner with Morgan Wooten and John Wooden? I'm like, really? But I will say this to him. I will say this to Coach Wooten. Without him, simply put, I would not be standing at this microphone. Coach and Kathy have always been there on the great days and on the days when there were challenges. So that's who I dedicate this to. And now I accept these 2 honors for my family. My mother, who's right here, my loving mother, she's wonderful. She always tells me to call her my loving mother. Did I say it right? Okay. More emphasis on loving mother. And my father, who's here in spirit. He's here in spirit. And I thank both of them, for they gave me the best foundation I could ever have by growing up in the house that they not owned, but that the house that they made a home. And that was the foundation of my life. They're both near and dear to me. They are the ones who suggested that I come to DeMatha. They're the ones who made the sacrifice so I could be here. So Mom and Dad, I love you very much. To my brother Steve, who's not here, to the rock in my life, Paula, who's right there. By the way, the other night we're packing to come here, and I say to her, Paula, can you believe this Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame? I can't imagine you could even think about that in your wildest dreams. She said, Jeff, there's one problem. You're not in my wildest dreams. Despite all that, Joe Mahalik, our basketball coach, and his wife Mary are here. And last week we had Joe's a former basketball coach here. Last week we had our Hall of Fame induction, and the MC was Jay Billis. And for the record, I took that joke from Jay Billis, who used it at ours. Feel free, go ahead and use it anytime. Could be some aftermath though, so see if we walk out together. And my wonderful wife and I, we share 2 wonderful kids. They're the light of our lives. Our daughter Megan, and our son Mike. 3 of my dear friends are here, and that's Kenny, Paul, and my godson Kenny. I mentioned Joe and Mary already. Let me just say this. I am so honored to come back to my second home, outside my parents' home, my second home, and to be here and to share with you and all the other honorees what DeMatha High School stands for. Thanks again to each and every one of you. God bless the DeMatha family, and St. John DeMatha, pray for us.